Hello and welcome to episode number 27, second overall this school year. And today we've got a fun interview with a former interviewee that we had last year with Cece Schrader, and we'll head on over to that right now. Hello, we're here with Cece Schrader, who is a senior captain for the softball team. They are currently 4-0, so they've had an incredible year. And Cece, how you doing?
I'm incredible. How are you?
So I've heard that it's someone's birthday today.
Yes, it is.
It is! Woo!
So make sure to wish Cece a happy birthday. But how's the school year going?
It's great. Thank you for asking.
You excited for senior year, last one?
I am.
Anything you're looking forward to particularly?
We started Senior Assassin this year, which is super exciting, and I got my assigned person out today. So
Nice.
Congrats.
There you go. Efficiency.
Your birthday gift is, you got
That
the
was
person.
My birthday gift. Best
Yeah.
birthday gift.
So just looking at the season so far, how has it been as like a captain perspective? What have you seen from your team?
As a captain, I will say us seniors have had a hard time balancing who's gonna take the. There's normally one captain who's like above everyone else, and that's how it's been the past couple years. But as seniors, we've been working hard to make sure that all of us equally share the responsibility this year. So that's been hard to distribute between each of us. But I will say it's super exciting to be able to lead the team and do things in the way that we want to do. As my previous years on the softball team, we weren't really able to speak up during team huddles before games or after games. And now being able to talk with the team, it's such a different dynamic that I'm able to say what I want to say, and all my friends are too.
So looking back at last year, you guys had a pretty successful year going into the playoffs. What do you want to build off of last year going into this one?
I think that last year we really had a good start with a successful year. The year before last, we did not do that well. I think we had a very mental team in a way. We would get frazzled very easily, and last year we kind of saw that too. In some harder games, we would crack under the pressure, and I want to build off that this year. We've done a great job these past 4 games, really staying focused when pressure comes. Our game 2 days ago against Hebron Christian, they're a super competitive team in the region, and not our region, in their region, and we were super nervous about them because the last time we played them, we lost, and they had it up. They were beating us at the beginning, and then we came back and beat them 6-1, and that was super exciting to see the team stick together through the hard times.
Talking about beating pressure as like a young player on the team, how can you tell us about like how some younger players have really stepped up?
Kate McDonald has actually been an incredible player on the team this year. She really can fill any spot that we ask her to. This year we've really struggled with finding positions for everyone because almost everyone on the team can do anything, and we lost 6 starting seniors last year, so finding how to fill those, or 5 starting seniors last year, so finding how to fill those spots has been really difficult. But Kate is such a staple to this team. She slaps in the lineup, so she's constantly getting on base. In addition to her, Addie Sang is a freshman, and she's incredible. She's all we could ever ask for. She's our shortstop now, and she's also a slapper, and she's at the bottom of the lineup, but we call the bottom the second second beginning. She used to start us at the top. Well, that does not make sense. But she's done an incredible job. She's really stepped it up this year, and she always executes at shortstop. She'll dive for any ball that is hit to her. She'll put in 100% effort at everything, always asking for extra practices. So her and Kay McDonald have really been a staple for the team this year.
Is there anything since the end of last year that you kind of really tried to work on in the offseason to improve, and you've seen it pay off so far?
For me, I've been working on my speed in the outfield. I play center field and especially travel this summer. It's been really important that I'm the person going for the majority of the balls, and I want my teams to be able to depend on me to get every ball. So I really worked hard in the off season on my defense and being able to be someone my team can rely on when the ball is hit to me, and I've seen that reflected in my defensive stats this year. I've had very good stats, and I'm proud of that.
And has there been a coach that's helped you with your development?
Yes, my travel coach has been incredible. She would spend hours with me after summer practices just working on diving and being super aggressive in the field. Prior to the summer, I wasn't really someone who would lay out for every ball. I would kind of second guess myself, but my confidence has definitely grown over this summer, and it's been reflected in the school year. I'll go for anything close to me, and typically I'll get there, and it's super exciting to see that I'm someone my teammates can rely on.
Now, being the team captain, you kind of have control over the younger people. So what have you been trying to influence on your team, and what's the team chemistry like?
The team chemistry is actually incredible. One of our freshmen actually has an older sister in our grade, so we have kind of known her for a couple years now, which makes it a lot easier to bridge the team together. In our previous years, especially when we were freshmen, the dynamic was super senior superiority, and then everyone else was kind of afraid of them. And we got together and we talked before the school year started, and we agreed that we didn't like that kind of dynamic, and we like when everyone is working together and everyone is equal on the team, because we are all equal when we're on the field. There's no seniors or superior beings when you're actually playing the game. So we worked really hard this year to make sure that everyone is equal in our minds and anyone can speak. So now we let underclassmen speak up during team huddles and say what they need to say, which is super important because it gives everyone a voice on the team, and we found it really working this year.
Yeah, creating like that family dynamic within the team. So what are some like activities you guys have done to really boost that?
So we have had 3 dinners now, I want to say, as a team. Anytime we've won at home, we've had a dinner at Willie's after, and that's obviously a simple activity, but it's super great just to have everyone on the team sitting at one table and being able to talk in a casual setting. I know on the softball field, as a freshman, it can be super stressful to feel like you have to perform your best at all times to like impress the seniors or upperclassmen. But when we're in casual settings like Willie's or getting team dinner, it's super easy to strengthen the relationships of the team.
Now, you're a two-sport athlete. You also are a defender in lacrosse. Is there anything you kind of see that goes between both sports that really can help you in both of those?
I think being a vocal player on the team is super important in both sports, and I found that lacrosse this year, defense, I really had to step it up with my communication with my teammates, because lacrosse is definitely a team sport. Softball is more of a solo sport in some regards, but with lacrosse, if you don't communicate with your team, you will not perform well. And this year, I worked a lot harder on communicating with my teammates, and now on the softball field, I see that I'm more of a vocal leader. Like, I will be calling the outs, who's on base, and cheering on my teammates when they're up to bat or pitching, and I find that super helpful, and my teammates look up to that because it's nice knowing that there's someone on the field supporting you at all times.
Now, looking back when you were younger, what drew you initially to softball? Like, who got you into it?
My mom signed me up when I was 5, and I guess I've just liked it ever since.
And if you could give yourself advice from now to then, what would you say to yourself?
Good question.
Thank you.
I'd probably tell myself to not take it so seriously. These past couple years of high school, I was thinking about playing in college, and I was like an avid camp goer, and that really became something I was looking forward to. But growing up and like experiencing softball this summer and this school year, I realized that it's not something I necessarily want to pursue, and I think I'll have more fun this year if I don't have that weight of having to play 4 more years on my back this year. So I think just taking it more chill is definitely something I would tell myself. Softball is definitely a mental game, and if you make errors or have a bad hitting streak, you can get in your head super easily, and it's hard to get out, which I've learned a lot over the years. And if there's one thing I could tell myself, it's that it's not that important. It's just a game.
With this being your last year playing softball, have you thought about that last out, that last at bat, that last time you step on the field?
I have. It's something I don't like thinking about because it makes me sad that it's over. And I honestly haven't been thinking about it that much. This year I've been thinking like, oh, next year I'll have to be more of a leader. And then I realize, oh, there's not a next year. And that moment of realization really gets to me, and that'll make me sad. But I don't know. I've just been pretty happy with the team right now. We have a super great dynamic, and one thing that's been keeping me super happy about this being the last year is that there's no other team I'd want to end my softball career with.
And do you have a goal for this team? Like, is there anything at the end of the year you want to accomplish with your team?
I want to put 100% of my effort into everything I do, so just leave it all in the field. But in terms of what I want to leave with my team, I just want my teammates to remember that. It's just a sport. I want them, every tidbit I give them before games or during team huddles, I want them to remember.
Do I want?
You have a question?
I didn't. I think you said you had one.
No.
Whatever.
Why would I tell
I mean,
you?
I can have a question. I don't know. I was confused.
We'll just cut this.
Yeah, cut.
Why would I tell you that I
I don't know. I was very confused. Okay.
What have you
Hold-
watching softball?
Okay.
If you don't have a question, I'll ask.
Well, I have a
one.
question now.
Okay. Cut.
Now, we looked a little bit at your interview from last year. How would you say, you as a person has really grown and changed since that interview?
I'm definitely more secure in who I am on the field, if that makes sense. As a junior, you're almost a senior, but you don't really have that power. You're technically an upperclassman, but you're still under the rest of the seniors, and there being 5 of them last year and all of them were captains. It definitely put a significant difference between them and the rest of the team. And I think that was kind of shown in how I wasn't as much as a vocal leader last year. And this year I'm definitely more secure in who I am on the field.
Talking about leadership, have you ever really looked up to a leader, maybe someone you've played with or someone you've watched on TV?
Good question. I mostly take my leadership learning from my counselors at camp. I also work at camp. I work at Camp High Harbor at Lake Burton every summer for around 6 weeks. And although it's not really related to softball, that place has taught me how to be a good leader and how to work with people while simultaneously teaching them things while also learning things myself. So I know that's not related to softball, but that's where I've learned my most about leading.
And unfortunately, we can't have you on next year. Who are a couple of names we should look out for next year when we want to have a softball-themed episode to have on?
Addie Sang.
Okay.
She's an incredible person, incredible softball player. She wants to play in college, so I for sure see that in her future. Kate McDonald, like I said, Adelaide Banks, incredible pitcher. She's really stepped it up this year. She's pitched every single game every single game and done an incredible job. So.
Oh, wow, that's pretty impressive. And looking down the line, how do you guys think you'll fare for the rest of the season?
There are low stakes that we make it to Columbus or win state, but I think we'll have a successful record like we do now. We're looking great right now, honestly better than I ever thought we would, so I think we'll do pretty well.
All right, well, that sounds very good. I'm very happy that you're so content with what's going on with the softball team. But now we'll transition a little bit over to a WCATchats wheel. We'll get a couple questions for you. So let's just see. How do you want to work this?
Cece can spin it. This is almost the exact same wheel with all the same questions from our first ever episode, which was almost exactly a year ago. So maybe some of our answers have changed. Now we get to see Cece's here as well. So she's spinning it. Let's see.
And it is.
How do we get this every single time?
Nope.
Oh.
Go-to spot on campus.
Oh, I thought it said go to a spot, like leave.
Alrighty, guys.
On that note, probably Bacher.
Yeah, so the
Has to be Bacher.
the seniors have a spot where it's like in Hawkins, right next to Hawkins. There's a
It's
little
in
Campbell.
Campbell.
Bottom of
You'll
Campbell.
right
find
next to
Bacher.
Hawkins. Yeah, because it's the bottom of Campbell.
BOC Bach.
BAWKER.
Wow.
Looking smooth over there. All right, we'll remove that one and we'll get one more spin.
Make it good.
Favorite flick
Ooh,
Lunch,
The podcast here loves flick lunches. So.
depending on the day.
I like flick lunches too, actually. I think the beef lettuce wraps, which they
Whoa.
discontinued, still mad about that. That has to be my favorite lunch.
It's like ground beef on a piece of lettuce.
It's
I'm gonna be honest, I
incredible.
won't remember those.
It wasn't
be
anything
honest.
to be
That's
remember.
wild.
To remember.
That is wild.
Wow.
That was one of my least favorite
Y'all are
flick
crazy.
lunches.
Nick,
So.
what's your favorite?
It's a great question. I'm gonna have to go with the firecracker chicken.
Oh,
It's
that was
pretty
what I
good.
was going to say.
Those are
pretty good.
incredible.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to go with the original. I don't know why I like it so much, but they make some good hot dogs. hot dogs, and when they get the tater tots right, makes me happy.
Little questionable.
Horrible take.
Little questionable.
It's
Makes
even
me
worse
happy.
than the beef lettuce. I love, the first day, the chicken sandwich. Kind of, I feel like it's always the first day lunch. Or we had it yesterday, the butter chicken I really enjoy.
Butter chicken's good.
Oh yeah, those are pretty good. Yeah, I'm always a fan whenever they have like chicken and rice or something.
Yeah.
Which is every day, so
Classics.
you're always a fan.
That is true. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Cece.
Happy
Learned a lot
birthday.
about
Thank you for having me.
Happy birthday
happy
again.
birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And now we'll head back over to the rest of the Westminster sports. Thank you so much, Cece. And it looks like you guys are going to have a great year. And now, Palmer, tell me a little bit about what's going on in the volleyball front.
I mean, on the hardwood, the volleyball team's been very impressive, 14-1. And last night, I got the pleasure of commentating 2 Westminster wins, beating Whitfield 2-0, and then a little bit of a thriller between Westminster and BT, but Westminster came out on top, winning 2-1. I mean, it's just a spectacular team. Seniors Ellie Myers and MC Pope, as well as you even have some great freshmen really contributing on that team. And I mean, I counted, there's 14 players on the team, 9 of them underclassmen. So it's really impressive those younger players have been able to get it done here on Coach Maxey's squad.
I mean, just younger players making an impact. That means that the future of the team is also looking
Very
pretty
bright.
good for the WCATs. Now over to football. Alex.
Over to football, the Wildcats had a very dominant win over the Lovett Lions. They won 41-15, which is the most amount of points that they have put up ever
In a
in a battle of Buckhead, and it's also the most amount of points that they've ever put up during a Romberg, during this Romberg era.
which has been a long time. So
Long era.
He's been coaching here for a good bit.
he's actually the most winningest coach,
In Westminster history.
It's been a long
I
era.
think, in Georgia history. Maybe.
No.
No
There's
shot.
like Valdosta's coach or something.
Anyways,
Well, anyways, the ground game was incredible. Yeah, very, very good.
Yeah.
I mean, Wade Penn and Fane Barton both doing it on the ground. But then we also got
some quarterback action too from Michael Buhay and a little
Ken
bit of
Perkins.
Ken Perkins too.
Yeah. So interesting to see how that's going to work out. Michael Buhay, a little bit more of a versatile quarterback, but Ken Perkins is able to stretch it down the field with a little bit more consistency. So we'll see how they work that out in today's game versus Pace, which will be Friday, and it'll be an away game. So make sure to stay tuned. Watch an NFHS or make sure to come out to the game.
And just FYI, the game is not at Pace and not at their campus. It's at the complex in Mableton. So don't go show up to Pace's campus if you want to check
Great
the game out.
campus, but,
Yeah, they do have a
no
separate,
Westminster football.
separate athletics facility.
Yep. Now over to softball. We did interview Cece Schrader, where she did touch over this. But just to summarize, since the last episode, they did beat the Decatur Varsity Bulldogs that Wednesday, 7-2. And then like Cece mentioned, they did beat Hebron in a thriller. Not really a thriller, but one of their closer matches they've had of the year, 6-1, where they actually did rack up. They did get out hit, but still won 6-1. They were
Wow.
out hit 8-7.
That's impressive.
And won 6-1 with the pitching effort by Adelaide Banks again. 7 innings, complete game, 104 pitches. Look at that.
Wow.
And softball has really been dealing with, they had a game that was supposed to be Tuesday that actually got canceled because of how hot it's been outside. So I know today they had a morning practice. That's why we moved to the afternoon. So they're really battling with the sports, just like the cross-country team, who the girls' team had their first time trials of the year this morning. It'd be here at 6:30 a.m.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is.
And it was still pretty steamy out here. It was like
It
80,
was.
80 degrees this morning.
The heat recently has been absurd. So make sure for the cross-country team to hydrate and stay out of the sun as best as possible because you guys will be out there for a while.
Yeah.
The meets go on for a little bit, if I'm
Yeah,
right.
it is kind of hard to avoid the sun, though, when you're running around outside.
Yep.
That
and
is true.
The guys won the Kosh Classic. Esfalon Daya got second, and in fourth place, Jaco. And it was a great
Younger
showing.
Jaco, too.
Yes, because the older one's hurt.
Yep.
But it was a great showing. Kosh Classic, obviously at Westminster, honoring Coach Koshawa. And, just a great event Saturday. And they have a couple of weeks till their next meet. And we can't wait to see how they'll be doing after all this more time on Kosh, getting even faster.
Yeah, and then the cross-country team did also have a lot of top finishes in JV as well. So up-and-coming runners for the Wildcats on the cross-country tracks.
And now turning to the pro side of sports, the Atlanta Falcons. They started the preseason beating the Dolphins 19-3, and last week they tied the Bengals 13-13, which is very promising. Granted, the Bengals are a very impressive team. Taylor Heineke led the Falcons, going
He's
13.
on the Falcons?
Yes, he
Apparently
is.
I had
now.
no clue.
Yeah, he went 13 for 21 with 162 passing yards, which is probably more passing yards than Marcus Mariota had in one game the entire season.
Ritter played well.
And that was only in one small part of the game. Ritter did play well. He went 7 for 9 with 80 yards, but 1 interception. And then looking at the ground game, we got the ball around to almost everyone. Tyler Algier, Taylor Heineke,
Bijan Robinson,
Robinson.
first time on an NFL field, four carries for 20 yards. His first run of his career was a nice little run up the gut for 12 yards. So it's good to see that from Bijan, who is looking to be the face of the Falcons for the next few years.
Yeah, very impressive running back. But one thing I do want to mention is there's a little bit of a running back conundrum going on in the NFL.
Yeah.
With the
Nice words.
running backs getting unpaid or paid less than they believe so. And currently, I believe Dalvin Cook and Ezekiel Elliott just got signed, but they were very unhappy with what was going on. Do you guys want to talk about that a little bit?
I mean, I feel like they have a fair argument where the fact is like, I think it's a double-edged sword. You know, there's two ways to look at it. I mean, you could look at, that position's so vital to a team. If you have an elite running back, you can win so many games. But you also have to look like they have like the shortest careers out of any position, and they get hurt so often. So why would you commit that much money?
But then I mean, I'm sure all of y'all have seen the stat. It's like the past 20 Super Bowl winning teams like haven't had a well-paid running back. And then I mean, you look last year, Chiefs go draft this guy named Isaiah Pacheco, 7th round. He's phenomenal. You can get so many good running backs late in the draft. That's why you rarely see them in the first round, unless it's what I would argue a generational talent in a Bijan Robinson. So I think there's just so many of them that are relatively equal.
Yeah, it's hard. It's
Exactly.
hard to separate yourself
Exactly.
unless you're like a Derrick Henry who's just bulldozing through 2,000 yards a year.
Or a McCaffrey who's catching the ball out of
Yeah.
the backfield and running routes.
But even then, they get injured at such a regular basis. Like McCaffrey, he got paid like more than when he was back on the Panthers. He got paid more than like both of the San Francisco running backs combined. But they had more production accumulated than he did.
Yeah.
So it's a little
It's
conversation
pick and choose. It really
piece.
is just what you want. I mean,
Yeah.
sure, you're not getting paid as much as the quarterbacks, but the quarterbacks are going out there playing every single game a year for 5-6 seasons. But you're out here playing 4 or 5 games over the course of 5 different seasons. I mean, no one's going to give you money for that, but it is what it is.
Any more NFL news?
I mean, Corey Davis retired, and Sam Darnold's going to be backup quarterback for the 49ers. But
Baker Mayfield also got the starting job for the Bucks.
And
That's true.
speaking of not starting jobs, Rodrigo Blankenship, former UGA kicker, did not win the job. So he's out of the NFL right now. I mean, he's in free agency. He'll be on some practice squad,
Oh,
whatnot.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Who's
unfortunately.
never that good.
Whoa. All right. And now looking at the Braves, Palmer, I know you got this in the bag.
Yeah, I mean, so much in the bag. You get to look on your phone right now, give you a little bit of a break. Braves currently in a series versus the Mets. Lost game 1, had, crummy pitching. Won game 2, game 3's tonight. I don't know. Braves are good. Best team in baseball. Only team with over 80 wins. I don't want to say I've stopped watching them, but it doesn't matter right now.
Yeah, they're on cruise control, and you
Yeah.
don't really have to worry about it. But I mean, the Mets. Can we talk about the Mets?
Man,
They
the
are
Mets are
bad.
Yeah. They well, one thing I do want to point out with the Braves is they're so good right now. Do you think that they'll want to shut down some of their players so they don't get overused or
No,
anything?
that's not the Braves way.
No, the Braves, because
Snicker would never do that.
always see at the end of the year, the Braves always have 3 or 4 dudes who played all 162, and it's always how it is for the Braves. And I
Braves.
think they're just gonna keep it rolling. I feel like they might shut down Strider.
I could see Elder
just-
more likely, or maybe go to like a 6-man rotation.
Yeah, just get an extra guy in there to
Yeah.
give him some more rest. But other than that, I don't see anyone taking a break.
Yeah.
No.
And just looking at the stats, they have 6 players with 20-plus home runs.
Up to 7 after
7
last
now.
night.
Last night, Eddie got his 20th.
And
you
I
go.
believe we have 5 with over 25.
Yep.
So, I mean,
How
just...
many do the Yankees have?
I think 2.
Do they even have 2? Judge and who else?
I think Rizzo was on the tear in the beginning of the year. Before the concussion.
I don't know if he was on that much.
No, he was leading the league in home runs for a little bit.
Yeah, he was. For
He
a little
was,
bit. He
but-
was like at 23, maybe. I want to say.
Rizzo on the year is at 12.
Wow. Okay.
Oh yeah, he did have like the worst 2-month stretch of his career when he
was
had that concussion.
Yeah.
And he hit 1 home run.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
it did
honestly
slow
impressive.
him
If you have a
down.
concussion, he can.
Gosh,
take one
that's
yard.
homer.
ridiculous. Well,
Thank you.
yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, Alex Carr, Nitin Raju, Palmer Ruth, and go Cats.